Shelly went to show live, local, topical, and relevant. Obviously, all evening long until 8 o'clock, we're playing bumpers. Our bumper music is coming from live performances at the Grammy. That was Bilal in the tribute to D'Angelo. So, do you guys remember Ammon Bundy? Remember, I brought him up and his movement up a couple months ago when Minnesota first started happening. And I think I brought it up more specifically when Renee Good was shot. And I had no idea that Mr. Bundy believed this. But for those of you who don't remember, Ammon Bundy is probably one of the most famous right-wing militants in America. He had a whole army fighting the federal government, right? And he had men with him, aiming rifles at law enforcement. And they were ready to go to war with the federal government. You guys remember him. Bundy was a hero to the nationalist right. Well, he's come out and recently on a podcast saying that what he's seeing in Minnesota is not godly and it's not right. Because he's consistent. He sees the big, overwhelming, powerful, authoritarian federal government as a bad thing, no matter who it's going after, because that's his mentality. His mentality is the federal government is too big and it's too powerful, and it can take us all in one swell swoop if we allow it. And so he stands on that. Picture that. He said God's law and the unalienable right to migrate. He said it's a moral failure. The Trump administration's treatment of undocumented immigrants he said it's a moral failure. Well, interestingly enough, he did an interview with The Atlantic about this. And the guy who interviewed him went around and called specific guys that were with Mr. Bundy in Montana at the time, in Idaho, I believe. No, Nevada. I'm sorry, Nevada. Just listen to this. Nick Ramlow, a Montana militant and member of Bundy's People's Rights Network, who once warned a sheriff that he had a bigger army than he does, argued that a jury would make a determination of liability when a civil suit is brought after Renee Good was shot. These guys who are willing to go to war with law enforcement when it impacted them are now saying, it's okay. Brings me to Alex Jones. When Barack Obama was elected president, the whole right thought that Barack Obama was going to send federal troops into cities because people dissented and people disagreed with him. And they're going to swoop everybody up. The black helicopters, remember them? And this was the thing. 2015, 2014, 2015, this was the thing. Many people say it's why Trump got elected. Now all of a sudden it's happening in cities, in counties, and the right is okay with it. So it's okay. Authoritarianism is good when it's not against you. But what you don't understand is that authoritarianism never stops. It doesn't stop. It needs to feed itself. Once I get you okay with it, then I can do it to everybody, including you at some point. And that's what Mr. Bundy completely understands. God bless him for being honest with himself and others about his principles. As I say it all the time on this show, if you don't have any morals and principles that you stand on, then you really don't know. You have no point of view. You're just kind of willing in the wind. Hoo. I believe this today. Oh, I believe that tomorrow. But that's opposite of what you believed yesterday. Well, that doesn't matter. Speaking of which, I want to talk about Nicki Minaj real quick. Nicki Minaj, big fan of Trump. Good for her. It's her right. Who she likes. I don't care. But good for her. So now everyone's coming after her because she did an event with Trump, said he's my favorite. He's my favorite, and just speaking glowingly of Trump. I think she bought the Trump card, which is like $1 million citizenship card, $15,000 fee. She got that, so now I believe she's a citizen. I guess that's how it works. Good for her. Good for her. Play the game. You got millions of dollars in the bank, and they're offering you citizenship for $1 million. You don't have to go through the process. Bam, bam, bam. Cut the check. Good for you. But now they're coming after her. All these people yelling and screaming at Nicki Minaj. Trevor Noah did a whole part of his monologue directed at Nicki Minaj. So guess what she's doing? She dropped 2 pictures. A picture of a 26, 27-year-old Jay-Z hugged up on, what's the young lady's name there, young man? What's the young lady's name? Somebody help me here. Oh, man, I died in a plane crash. You got it? You coming? Aaliyah. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Aaliyah with 15-year-old Aaliyah, and then another picture of 26, 27-year-old Jay-Z hugged up with 16-year-old Beyonce. And so she's kind of saying, look, these Epstein files are showing you that there are pedophiles amongst us, right? And so she's going deeper. She's saying these people are in satanic cults. And everyone's saying, oh, my God, it's such a conspiracy theory. But we're seeing with these Epstein files, the length that these men, powerful men in business and politics, kings and all kinds of people, were trafficking in women. And so here's my point about the Epstein files. I told you I'm mixing a whole bunch of things in together. But here's my thing about the Epstein files. If you get out of the idea that it's all to get Trump, if you take your mindset out of that kind of thinking and see this as the large global issue that it is, rich and powerful people are trafficking in young girls. That is what these Epstein files are revealing to me. Something, by the way, QAnon said years ago, but we won't go there. We won't call them conspiracy theorists, right? But we know that this is what we're seeing. We're seeing it's in black and white. My Giants, my beloved Giants, the owner, Steve Tisch, is going back and forth about a Ukrainian girl, and is she a pro, or is it? And then he says, oh, we're talking about adult women. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're talking about girls. You're talking about young girls. You're a pedophile. And I hope the NFL gets rid of this guy. The Giants need new ownership anyway, and his sister and brother will take over. But they need to take it away from the family. They need to force a sale, just like they did with Donald Sterling, just like they did with the Panthers owner, just like they've done other times. They need to force a sale from the Tisch family. Why? Because they're a terrible ownership group for my Giants. But more importantly than that, because you're a pedophile. I mean, at what point do you get off of this Trump thing and see it as what it is? Rich and powerful people trafficking in young girls all across the world. And one guy was the middleman. That is the story. And that's what we should be focused on, bringing them all to justice. But no, we're too politically divided to do that. So the people who love Trump want nothing to do with the Epstein files, and the people that hate him want him to be the only bad guy, when this is a global network of rich and powerful people trafficking in little girls. That's what they're showing us. Millions and millions of files and emails are showing us that. And what are we arguing about? Ooh, the more salacious stuff. Sickens me, man. Really sickens me. Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.